Here we are, PK. We're back here with another episode of Out of the Box. I'm here in Eastern Europe still on vacation, as many of you know, and what we're going to talk about is, so PK, what is manipulation in stocks and in the futures market? And this is the name of the show we're going to talk about on Out of the Box, because let me tell you something. I watch a lot of these, like many of you, I'm sure most of you. There's a tremendous amount of financial channels here, and these people got huge followings. And I want to say, and of course this is my opinion, remember I'm 62, 35 years experience, professional trader, I had a brokerage company, traded on the floor. I've really been around. I've had, really great success. Of course I have losing years. Of course I've made all the mistakes, but the bottom line is I need to say something because nobody else is saying this. They all talk about this manipulation of blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to tell you from 35 years of trading, I don't care if it's gold, silver, crude oil, S&P, stock index futures, currency market, Forex. Let me just tell you what I feel. First of all, I'll tell you what I think the real manipulation is and the reality of manipulation. Number one, front-running your order. This has been going on stocks and futures. I saw it on the floor when I was down at the COMEX for a couple of weeks. By the way, I was a loser in the COMEX. I was not. I had a friend who traded in the silver ring. It took me. I was not a member, but he gave me a jacket, and those days I'd be able to stand down there. And I wanted to start my whole career. I had a brokerage company. I got shifted. I wanted to be a hedge fund trader. In those days they called them a commodity trading advisor, but I got shifted. I could only make money in the trading for myself, and it was a horrible thing to be a broker. So I thought I'd start my whole career. I went down to the floor. But I couldn't make the switch. I'm from California. I'm way not tough enough to be screaming down there. Because you have to be in that game down there and the New York Mercantile, in the COMEX ring. You really, those New Yorkers are very, very tough. Anyway, but I saw this. Number one, they've been front-running the order. If you guys must know what this means. It's they know what you or the big guys are going to do. And whether it's the trading desk on the floor, the bank, the trading desks at the banks, they take position before their clients, and then they sell to their clients, and they make a guaranteed profit. You get caught once in a while. You get fined, as you see. I think J.P. Morgan. I don't even want to mention any names, but this has been going on. This is nothing new. And you can say, okay, they're manipulating. Okay, this is a form of manipulation, no question. Number two, where they're manipulating you, they're gunning for our stops. You put those stops in. I saw it happen with my very own eyes, right on the floor, as I said. Because they know now it's electronic, but now they can look at you with your stock trader, look at level 2, and plus they can go deeper and see exactly where you're putting your stops in. And yes, the big guys or the people on the desk, they can gun for those stops. Again, lock in a profit. This is a form of manipulation. Number 3, this is something new that I feel strongly about. Okay, this whole Wall Street's bets for stock people, all these stock traders out there, is don't bet against those Wall Street bets stocks that they're following. Of course, most of them I think they're all going long because they want to squeeze. They're trying to get the big hedge fund guys out, but they did it in silver too. So my point is, I would not be trying to bet against them. Who cares what the fundamentals are? They got 10 million subscribers. They got way too much power to really move that market. If they all once in a while, we see it. I see it. I even follow it. Even myself, I'm opening up a stock account. I want to start trading just those 10 stocks and giving up the leverage of a S&P or a NASDAQ trader, which I am, because I feel this is the very first edge you have. So my point is, don't bet against the Wall Street group. And you can say, well, PK, are they manipulating the market? Well, In a way, they are, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing illegal to do. And just because they were able to successfully get millions of people and convince everyone to do it at the same time, but look, who knows? Maybe this will change. Maybe they'll disband these groups. They'll have too much power. You see what happened in GameStop. You see what happened to Silver. I see they're doing AMC now. I've dedicated a whole page on my TradeStation just for those the Wall Street, the Reddit group. So I wouldn't bet against them. Number 4 is, of course, ignore the television. Nothing you can gain there. They can manipulate your thinking a certain direction with stock markets, certain stocks. I won't mention any names, but you know who I'm talking about. There's a few people out there who are very vocal, and but I would throw all that stuff out. And so this is where I feel the manipulation is in things like this. One other thing I'd like to talk about is where there's a lot of misinformation, about where how they're manipulating it. And they show these examples of some of these major Wall Street firms getting fined, but they're really talking about what I talk about: front running the order, the insider trading. And this is nothing new. They want to make it sound like, oh, this is something new, and you're going to see, and the market's going to collapse because of all these things. You see, they've been getting caught. I'm telling you, this has been going on since I started in the 80s. Probably happened in the 70s too. And some of the people, first group went to jail. They got caught. In my generation, even they did the big movie with Wall Street with Michael Douglas about this whole thing and inside information trading. That was the big thing in the 80s. But it's the same thing. This was the manipulation. This will always go on. Anytime you can make fast money and cut all the corners, it's going to happen. But I want to mention the last couple of things here for this. About I feel there's a lot of misinformation. Number 1 is there has been a lot of discussion about this high frequency trading, HFT, and how we're all getting screwed and how they're ahead of us because they have the technology. I'm telling you, believe me, if you're buying Apple and they're buying it at 2 cents or 5 cents cheaper than you, this is not the difference. This is not the reason you're losing. Okay, so they have the technology. They can execute 1 million trades and make this. They beat you. They're beating all of us. But this, in my eyes, this is not manipulation, and this does not affect you. Why? You cannot blame the high-frequency traders that, they're screwing me. I'm losing because of them. You're losing because you're keeping when those buy your stocks, they go against you, and you don't get yourself out. Not because of the HFT, guys. So this is wrong. There's no manipulation there. One thing that it is true regarding the gold and silver, especially on the gold, this London gold fix, this has been a racket really since who knows, at least when I started in '82. The guy I worked for, he was from London, so he's the one who taught me about this thing, but the London gold fix, and they manipulate this thing. It's been going on since then. The other big thing about the gold and silver, I hear this constantly. This is the last thing I'm going to say, because I'm just about 10 minutes here. All these financial channels there's so many, and they really have big followings too. They say that whoever they are, the globalists, these bankers, central bankers, whatever you want to say, they have the power to keep that silver and gold down. This is the most ridiculous, and that's how they're manipulating the gold, silver, especially on the silver. And this is why silver. Look, I think gold and silver are going up. Fine, I have no problem. Maybe the system will. I'm not to believe the system will crash, but let's say I'm wrong. I could be wrong. It happens. But the argument that they're holding the price down, this is absolutely not true. I would love to argue these people. Show me the evidence that they're holding it down, and I can show evidence that they couldn't hold it. They're not holding it down. You know how? The fact that the Reddit group a few months ago were able to move that silver up $3 in 24 hours, which is, I think, one of the biggest things I've ever seen outside of a war. Okay, I can't remember a $3 day. I was not following the Hunt brothers run up on a daily basis. I was 20 years old in those days, 1920. So I can only tell you this: no one can hold that market. They're not purposely manipulating and holding it down and giving us, all of us, these insiders, this big opportunity to buy the gold and silver. Gold and silver is no different than anything else. It's supply and demand, and people's perception, or they want to buy. We know they've lost the gold. They've lost people over to the Bitcoin. Whether they come back or not, this is just a theory argument. It's really irrelevant. I just want to tell you that. I want to end this with that they are not manipulating that gold and silver. I don't see one shred of evidence. If we were in a courtroom, they'd lose. Believe me, but they make it. And I think it's horrible. It's a sales technique. Nothing wrong with saying, hey, I think gold and silver, especially silver's going up, it's undervalued, blah, blah, blah. But to tell all of you that this big secret, and they're trying to help all of us spread the word out there, Wall Street Silver and all these different groups, that they're purposely keeping that silver down because they don't want the big secret to be known, that they don't have enough silver at the COMEX warehouse if everyone takes delivery. What big secret? Everyone knows this. Everyone in the business knows this is nothing new. They make it sound like this is some secret. And when the world finds out, they can't. But this is exactly what the Hunt brothers did in the 70s. They just delivered. They didn't have enough silver in the warehouse. And they kept buying more and more and more. And this was a real manipulation that the Hunt brothers did. You want to see what a real manipulation, take a look, go back at the Hunt brothers. And believe me, when you look back, even it gets so funny, there's a lot of revisionist history regarding this manipulation of the Hunt brothers. They want to make it sound like, oh, they did it because the economy and the dollar and all the other arguments we hear now, the dollar's going to crash, and this is where the Hunt brothers did it because they're trying to corner the market. They found a way. They had figured it out that all we had to do, keep buying and keep taking delivery, and this will get the price rocketing up. And the difference is, unlike the Reddit group 3 months ago, they didn't sell, and they would use their profits, their unrealized gains, to buy even more futures contracts and more and more and more. And this would have made the price go to $50. Nothing to do with fundamentals about the dollar or inflation, or the time everything was going on at that time. This was 100% pure manipulation. And you see what happened? The minute the COMEX got wind of it and figured the whole thing out, what did they do? They raised the margin. Couldn't make the margin call. They had to dump all the silver. Silver came all the way down. In fact, that's when I started. Silver was about $11.50, coming down to $50 when I started in the business. And I watched it go from $11.50, I think, all the way down to $3. And then and went sideways for years and years and years. So anyway, it's PK. You see, I've gone on. I ramble on. I feel very strongly about these things, and I want to give you these tips. Always feel free to write me. You want to say I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, PK, you're too old, you know what's happening anymore. Go ahead. You're not me the first person that is crazy, but let me tell you something. I'm living the out-of-the-box lifestyle. Take a look at my other videos. Take a look at my wife. Take a look at what we're doing. I'm even here in Europe. Now, last summer, big believer in the trading. I want to help you guys. I don't sell nothing. No newsletter, no chat room. I don't offer advice, nothing. The reason is because two things. One, of course, it makes me feel good. 3 reasons. 2, I wish my father had helped me when I was in my 20s. I come from a successful family. I got zero advice and zero counsel. Burned a lot of nerves. And number 3, I learned this living over here in Europe. It's maybe something out of the Bible. I'm not such a religious person. Is one good deed leads to another. So anyway, this is PK with Out of the Box. I wish everyone a great day, and speak to you another time. Ciao, everybody.